Poland is one of those countries that many people think they already know everything about, especially in Eastern Europe. It seems familiar, close, and easy to understand. But the reality turns out to be far more interesting. The first impression of Poland is often connected with a sense of order. Clean streets, good roads, neat buildings, and a calm atmosphere. After some post-Soviet countries, this becomes noticeable almost immediately. But the most important feeling is stability. Poland does not try to appear luxurious or perfect. There is no sense of exaggerated wealth here. Instead, there is a feeling of practicality and structure. Everything looks as if the country is developing gradually and confidently, without sudden moves. Many people come here thinking that Poland is only a transition stage before Western Europe. But over time, some begin to change their opinion. Because Poland has long stopped being the country people imagined 10 or 20 years ago. Today, it is a modern state with a growing economy, comfortable cities, and a fairly high standard of living. At the same time, it has preserved a unique atmosphere that is difficult to explain in words. Poland feels European, yet still closer and more understandable for many people from Eastern Europe. And it is exactly this combination that makes it so attractive.
Poland may seem like a calm country, but beneath the surface, it contains many contrasts. On one side, there are modern business centers, international companies, and rapidly developing technologies. On the other, there are old neighborhoods, traditional values, and a strong connection to the past. History is felt very deeply here. Many cities were almost completely destroyed during World War II and later rebuilt from the ground up. That is why Poland feels both modern and historical at the same time. This is especially noticeable in the larger cities. Old squares, narrow streets, churches, and historic architecture stand side by side with new districts, glass office buildings, and modern transportation systems. But the contrasts are not only visual. There is a clear difference between large cities and smaller towns, between the western and eastern parts of the country, between the younger generation and people with more traditional views. Poland is developing rapidly, yet at the same time it tries to preserve its traditions and national identity. And sometimes it is exactly this balance between modernity and conservatism that creates an inner tension within the country.
Polish cities are different from one another, but they share one common feature: a sense of organization. Warsaw feels modern and business-oriented. It is a city of skyscrapers, offices, business, and a fast pace of life. You can feel the energy of growth and constant movement there. Krakow is completely different. More atmospheric, historical, and tourist-oriented. Many people consider it one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. Wrocław, Gdansk, and Poznan, each city has its own character and unique mood. But overall, the rhythm of life in Poland feels calmer than in the major cities of Western Europe. People work hard, yet they also value stability and personal space. Poland does not feel overly noisy or chaotic. Even large cities often seem more comfortable for everyday life. Public transportation is well developed. Many cities are convenient for walking. All of this gradually creates a sense of order that people quickly get used to. But there is another side to it. Sometimes life here may feel too predictable and too calm, especially for those who are used to a brighter and more emotional atmosphere.
Over the past decades, Poland has made an enormous economic leap forward. Today, the country is considered one of the fastest-growing economies in Europe. Technology, manufacturing, logistics, and international business are all developing rapidly here. Many foreign companies choose to open offices in Poland. For newcomers, this creates a wide range of opportunities, especially for those who are ready to work hard and adapt. However, the job market also has its own specifics. There are jobs available, but much depends on language skills, qualifications, and the region. Large cities offer significantly more opportunities. Salaries in Poland have increased noticeably in recent years, but at the same time, prices have also risen. This is especially true for housing rent and everyday expenses. For many migrants, Poland becomes the first country where they begin building a new life in Europe. That is why large international communities have formed here. But adaptation still takes time. Language remains an important factor. Although many Poles understand other Slavic languages, full integration is almost impossible without knowing Polish.
For a long time, the cost of living in Poland was considered one of the country's biggest advantages. And indeed, compared to many Western European countries, life here can still be more affordable. But the situation is gradually changing. Prices are rising in almost every area of life. This is especially noticeable in the larger cities. The biggest expense is housing. Apartment rents have increased significantly in recent years, especially in Warsaw, Krakow, and other popular cities. Food remains relatively affordable, particularly if you buy local products. Poland is known for its high quality and reasonably priced goods. Transportation and infrastructure are also considered strong points of the country. But overall living costs are slowly approaching Western European levels. That is why more and more people are beginning to realize Poland is no longer a cheap country. However, with a smart approach, it is still possible to live here quite comfortably.
Poles often seem more reserved compared to people from Southern European countries. They do not always seek close contact immediately, rarely smile at strangers without a reason, and highly value personal space. For some foreigners, this can initially feel like coldness, but over time, it becomes clear that it is not about being unfriendly, it is simply part of the culture. Poles are usually more cautious in communication, but once relationships become closer, they can be extremely reliable and sincere people. Respect for hard work, stability, and family plays a major role in society. Many people here are used to relying primarily on themselves and value a sense of security. The country's history has strongly influenced the national mentality. Poland went through wars, crises, and difficult periods, which created a certain seriousness within society. At the same time, the younger generation already feels quite different. Young Poles are more open to the world, travel actively, work in international environments, and see themselves as part of modern Europe. It is also interesting how tradition and modernity coexist in Poland. Religion, family values, and national identity still play an important role, yet at the same time, the country is rapidly changing under the influence of the global world. For many newcomers, it is exactly this balance that makes Poland feel comfortable to live in.
Poland's climate cannot be called extreme, but it noticeably affects people's mood and lifestyle. Winter here can be long, gray, and fairly cold. For many people, the lack of sunlight becomes especially difficult. During the autumn and winter months, cities grow quieter and even feel a little gloomy. Summer, on the other hand, brings a completely different atmosphere. Parks, streets, and cafes fill with people, cities come alive, and there is much more energy and activity. Poland is a very green country. There are many parks, forests, and natural areas. Even in large cities, the presence of nature is easy to feel, making everyday life more comfortable. Daily life in Poland feels quite organized. People are used to planning their time, following rules, and valuing order. Shops, transportation, and public services generally work in a stable and predictable way. For many people, this becomes a major advantage after living in countries with less stable systems. But at the same time, this level of organization can sometimes feel too strict or even boring. Life here rarely appears chaotic. Everything moves calmly and according to the rules. For some, this is comfort. For others, it feels like a lack of emotion and spontaneity.
Poland is actively developing its educational and healthcare systems. The country's universities are becoming increasingly popular among international students, especially because tuition costs are often more affordable compared to many Western European countries. Many educational institutions cooperate with international companies and offer modern study programs. Healthcare in Poland combines both public and private systems. Public healthcare is accessible, but it is often associated with waiting times and bureaucracy. That is why many residents prefer to use private clinics for faster service. At the same time, the quality of medical care is gradually improving. Especially in large cities, the level of service can be very high.
For newcomers, understanding the healthcare and insurance system may seem complicated at first, but over time, people usually adapt to these rules.
Poland has many strong sides: safety, stability, good roads, comfortable cities, and a developing economy make the country attractive for living. Many people appreciate the sense of order and predictability. Here, it is possible to make long-term plans and feel a certain confidence in the future. But there are also challenges. The climate does not suit everyone. Long, gray months can affect people's mood. In addition, Poland is gradually becoming a more expensive country. What was once considered a major financial advantage no longer feels as significant. Adaptation also takes time. Despite the cultural similarities, differences in mentality and systems are still noticeable. Poland is a country that has changed far more than many people realize. It no longer feels like a temporary option or simply a cheap alternative to Western Europe. Today, Poland is an independent modern state with its own atmosphere, strong economy, and distinct character. It may seem too calm at times, sometimes even too serious, but at the same time, there is a sense of stability and reliability that many people feel is missing today. And that is exactly why more and more people come here not just to work, but to start calling Poland their home.